go to the ground after that, and
unnecessary roughness, roughing the master, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
need to hit him, never mind hit him late there.
Yeah, that's a little bit of unnecessary pressure once you.
It's a tough penalty there. Takes the ball up near midfield. There's a pass complete to Anderson on the left side. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage rather, plus about a yard.
Yeah, the Sun are looking to that quick pass game that they were successful with last week. Get the balls into their receivers' hands as quick as they can.
So it looks like we've got second down and about 9 at the Okanagan 40. Nick Wemmen in that first series, where we saw the Sun go 2 and out, both run plays, but you're right, they've definitely mixed in some more passes here. Their one touchdown is passing. Here's Wemmen back to pass again into the middle. This one is complete. That to Falconer. Big body makes it up to about the 45, but he's going to be about 4 yards short of a first down, and the punting team will come on the field here on third down for the Sun.
Yeah, I'd like to see the hooks run a little bit further downfield when you're going to run hooks on those second down plays. Actually run your hooks to the sticks and not just get the third and short.
Yeah, it looked like Wemmen was looking to the outside there, and as just getting the punt off there was Wegner. Now back to receive at his own 25-yard line. Nowhere to go on this return. That is Joseph once again. A flag comes in late.
Another clip, I think. Now if I was the Sun coach, I'd be talking to my kicker for the same reason again. If you just leave your leg up there after your kick, just as most kickers do, they'll let their kick go and you pause for a moment. If you don't just try to suck your leg back in, he's getting hit on the guy trying to block the kick, and you're getting a free 15 yards and a first down. But yeah, he saw that guy coming and just wanted to get out of the way, because that is a risky play too. It puts yourself at risk.
Well, this penalty going.
After the play was dead, 57 on the Broncos, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So the Broncos, another unnecessary roughness call on them there. That is Darby Kwan, who's whistled on that foul. So that will take the Broncos all the way back to their own. I believe they're spotting that right at the 14-yard line at Kamloops. It's a tough field position for the Broncos here.
I believe the Broncos have a tight end out. Something you don't see all that often in Canadian ball.
Henkel's going to hand this one off. That's a nice play to Joseph. He's got space and time and gets all the way up to the 28. That'll be good for a first down, and for the Broncos, that's about best case scenario for them on that play. Tight little handoff deep in their own end of the field, and they pick up a first down on that.
Yeah, watch for the Broncos to come out with a lot more tight end going forward, because that opens up another running gap, and because you start thinking about the run so much, it opens up the passing game too. So
yeah, another big blocker out there. This time a pass over to the far side for Duneveld. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 here for the Broncos. Duneveld, who was lining up in that tight end spot there, they tried to find him coming up the left side.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to take advantage of that tight end mismatch. He gets lost in the fray too, because you just think of him as an O-lineman, and whoever has his coverage assignment, forget him all the time.
Another pass, this one going to be to Joseph. He will get up to about the line of scrimmage and no further. Sun wrap him up there, and it'll be another punt coming up here for the Broncos, who have had a couple good flashes here and there, but just haven't been able to put a solid series together against this Sun defense yet.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that after that big first successful run, they went with 2 passes back-to-back. That tight end, having played again in the Canadian game against tight ends, it's one of the more frustrating things to deal with, just because of, that extra running lane it opens up.
So another high snap. This punt, a nice high arc up to the Sun 45. It's back to a return as Anderson, who's got time and space up the left side. He's not very touched as he cuts across midfield, now over the 40-yard line, and he'll get brought down at the Broncos
35?
Close to, yeah. I was trying to see where they're going to spot it over there. Yeah, it looks like about the 36-yard line, but what a return from Nathaniel Anderson there, who really was untouched for most of it.
Yeah, that was a great setup by the Sun, which is something you can do when you're going against somebody who doesn't have that crisp, consistent snap, because everybody has to stay in and block a little longer. It takes them longer to get downfield, and you have more time to set up your blocks.
So an interesting play there where it's almost like the Sun can kind of cheat on special teams a little bit there because they know that they've got that extra time.
Yeah, it's definitely an undervalued spot.
5:21 left to go here in the opening quarter. 7-0 the score for the Sun. They got on the board, about 5 minutes ago. Kyler Mosley with a 36-yard touchdown reception. If you're just joining us, Nick Wenman, third-year quarterback for the Sun, getting the start here tonight and has looked just fine behind center. Back to pass here on this first down play. He's going deep across the middle and just past the hands there. That of big Jesse Falconer, who had one reception on the last possession for the offense. He was going deep right up the middle of the field and came close to bringing that one in.
Yeah, that was a great defensive play there. I think that's Kieran Muir, 32 at corner for the Broncos. Just looked like the guy was wide open, and at the last second, as the ball reached his hands, there was a good collision.
Yeah, you're right. Falconer looked a lot more open than they did, but that corner was able to make up a lot of time and space there. And by the time the ball got there, it was close to being double-teamed. Wemman back to pass. This one off his back foot, and he's going to miss there on that. Was looking for Mosley.
Not sure if that was a missed blocking assignment or a screen, because that end came in untouched.
Yeah, he sure did. It was Wemman was under pressure early. Looked like a bit of a screen pass with Wemman going back, throwing off his back foot there, but tough one there to connect with Mosley, so it'll bring up third down here. Wonder what's happening with the offense staying on the field for the Sun here on third down.
I expect this is just a little outside where they're comfortable letting their kicker take an opportunity. They'd rather take the chance on 10 yards than the long kick.
So here it is, Wemman back to pass, third down. He tries to go up the middle, has nowhere to go. And he'll get wrapped up actually behind the line of scrimmage. Going to be at...
Looks like that was Darby Kwan out there with that sack. At least he's the one getting all the high fives.
Kwan building on a big week last week, as we talked about earlier. Got into a handful of games with this team, the second-year player out of Richmond, a handful of games with this team last year, putting up 20 tackles, 6 assisted tackles, but without a sack last year, and a big one there for Kwan. So it's the Broncos' turnover on downs here. They're back to run it on their first down play, and that one wrapped up rather quickly. Andrew Pockernick, I think that's his first carry on the night.
The first one I've noticed anyway. That was a great tackle in the backfield there by Eli Haynes. Just meeting the running back at the point of the handoff. That's really nothing you can do when you're running back in that position.
No, he was wrapped up in a hurry. That from Haynes, of course, the fifth-year safety for the Sun back there. And it'll be second down, 10 to go here on the 39 for the Broncos. Back to pass, here's Henkel. He's in trouble, and he's taken down A huge sack from Connor Richard. A big loss for the Broncos.
That was really impressive. That was just pure speed on that sack. It was a designed screen. So the quarterback is expecting the pressure, expecting to have to throw off his back foot. And he still got there so quick, the quarterback couldn't do anything about it. Had nowhere to go with the ball. That was impressive.
Yeah, Henkel had 2 Sun defenders on him in a hurry, and it's Connor Richard wrapping up his man. And that'll end up being 3rd and 26 here as we're inside 3 minutes in the first quarter. Sun with the 7-0 lead, about to get this ball back on offense. Looks like Liam Crane is back for the kick return. He's not going to catch this one as not a great punt there for the Broncos. It's going to go out of bounds right by their own, looks like 43, 44-yard line. And so the Sun going to start out with good field position rather, on this possession.
Yeah, that was definitely the best snap of the game for Kamloops too. So hopefully that problem has gotten cleared up a little bit, and the kicker can get some confidence back and start putting some more strength into those kicks, because that one definitely seemed like maybe it was in his head a little bit.
Yeah, interesting to see how the special teams can really play a big factor. We saw it week 1 for the Sun, and we're seeing little shades of that here tonight. Is Zyla with a pitch over to the far side. Going to be a big tackle there down at the 35-yard line. That was Kelton Corey, the running back on the run. I think that was his first rush of the night, or one of. And that'll be 2nd and about a yard here. Nice run for Corey on the outside. Corey's going to line up behind Wenman once again here. He will get the ball in the handoff and just punch it up the middle. That good enough for a first down. He looked to get about 3 yards on that play. And that takes it inside the Broncos' 40, 1st and 10 for the Sun on the Kamloops 34-yard line.
Still just a one-play game here.
It sure is, and talking about the Sun offense, we've seen some passing plays work early. We've talked about those, but in terms of establishing that run game, Corey with the last 2 carries, and he's going to get another one here. He will get knocked down about a yard or so behind the line of scrimmage, though.
Yeah, the Sun came out there with the tight end that time and had with the eye back, they may have projected their run a little bit too much.
Loss of 2 is what's being marked now. So 2nd and 12 for the Sun. Ball at the Kamloops 36-yard line. Wenman going to pass it. He's under pressure right away. Throws to that far side. Just incomplete. He was looking for Keon Ashani. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down situation for the Sun here. Looks like they will bring the kicking unit on, but that one, a play where Wenman was under pressure really, really quickly there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a miscommunication in the blocking scheme or not, but it didn't seem like anybody really had the outside edge for him.
So it's going to be a punt here, as would be a fairly long field goal at
43, 44.
Yeah, not going to go for that one. So it is Wagner back to punt it towards the corner. That will bounce nicely right up near the 12-yard line. It's going to be a flag in for no yards. But it's Max Joseph with the return. He had nowhere to go, as there was a whole slew of players around him when he picked up the ball. But even factoring in the penalty on this one, which will move the ball forward, it's still pretty good field position for the Sun to pin Kamloops back near their own goal line.
Yeah, definitely. But then the way Max has been bouncing around today, I'd definitely take that no yards penalty every time instead of giving him too much space to try to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had some returns this evening that have gone a lot more than 5 yards, so it'll be first down and 10 for the Broncos here at their own 21-yard line. This is set to be the final play of the first quarter, and it's a pass here over on the far side. That one going to be complete. It is Nick Haikawi with the catch, and he's wrapped up right near the line of scrimmage. And that is going to be the final play of the opening quarter. Well, after the first quarter, it's the Okanagan Sun 7, the Kamloops Broncos no score. We'll take a quick break here, come back for second quarter action from the Apple Bowl. It's the Sun and the Broncos here on AM 1150.
White's Barbecue and Fireplace Center for all things barbecue.
Hey, baby, it's the king here, the Brawl King, that is. And these grills have got me all shook up. Cast iron, stainless steel, propane, and natural gas. Reassembly. Where can a man get a Brawl King of a deal like that?
White's Barbecue and Fireplace Center, corner of Springfield and Spall, for all things barbecue. White's. Put some sizzle on it.
You're listening to Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150.
Welcome back here to the Apple Bowl in Kelowna, where the Okanagan Sun at home against the Kamloops Broncos, Week 2 of BCFC football action. Of course, you're listening to this game on AM 1150 here in Kelowna, as well as BCFC TV. This is a broadcast of the British Columbia Football Conference, and it is powered by Remax. Evan Cook alongside Carson Park for this one in a first quarter that we saw definitely go the Suns' way in terms of points on the board. They kept Kamloops off the board, and here they're back to pass on second down. Looked like it was Henkel who was just hit when he was making that pass. It was intended up the right side for Tim Solipa. So that'll bring up a third down here for the Broncos. I think Henkel's arm was just knocked as he was trying to make that pass.
Yeah, it definitely came out not quite as crisp as we've been seeing balls flying. And, yeah, the receiver just couldn't quite get there.
So a good stop here for the Sun, who once again are looking to take over this ball in good field position. Back for the punt here is Couture. Gets that one off and floats it up right around midfield. That's where Nathaniel Anderson is going to take it. He punches it up the middle, dodges a tackle, gets brought down right across the 40-yard line. A flag comes out at the end of that play.
A lot of flags in special teams today.
Yeah, there sure have been, and
I think that's another clipping penalty.
yeah, it looks like this one's going against the Sun, however. I think that's what the referee signaled down there.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 9 on the Sun. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's Tyson Mastrodimos with the penalty. We've seen a lot of unnecessary roughness penalties, too, in this game. We've seen multiple roughing the passer calls go against the Broncos. Now, we've seen a few of these, but that is an unfortunate penalty for the Sun, going to bring them right just on the Broncos side of midfield. Looks to be the Kamloops 54-yard line. So it's Wenman going to hand this one off up the middle. Nice run there. Taking it almost all the way to a first down, Kelton Corey.
That was a great cut there. Got running back trying to get around the linebackers and get it into the secondary.
Yeah, nice play there for Corey, who is able to find that hole rather quickly and got up, like I say, just before that first down marker. So it looks to be 2nd and 2 now. Going to be at the Kamloops 46-yard line. One back is Corey. He gets the ball once again, going to stuff it through. That should be enough for a first down.
Sun out with the tight end again, so that looks like it's going to be a common theme for both teams today.
Yeah, an interesting element there, and if the Sun are going to run it like they have been, it's shown to open up some extra space for their backs out there, and that'll be an interesting element going forward to see if, like you say, both teams continue to utilize that like that. Wenman's going to pass this one over to Mastrodimos on the right side. He goes behind a blocker and is going to get all the way up near the first down. Should be good.
Yeah, that extra tight end especially is tough when it's a receiver who's converting into the tight end. Because the receivers know how to block. Football is just about blocking, so everybody knows how to block to some degree. But joining the box on the defensive side is quite a bit different from following receivers around. And pulling that receiver into the box, you force a defensive back to join the box, and now he has a gap responsibility that he's not used to. And it really creates a mismatch.
Wenman's going to pass this one off. Going to connect with Mosley on that pass, and he'll get up all the way to the Broncos 35. Mosley looked to be lining up in the slot there, and he just takes it back up towards the middle of the field, right up the left hash mark there. And so that'll bring up second down, about 2 yards to go. But boy, the Sun, it doesn't matter what they're doing, whether it's passing or rushing on this possession, they look to be moving those chains just quite effectively here.
Yeah, it's really nice when you can hit that 5 to 8 yard a play average and actually hit it almost every play.
Hand off to Corey. Looks like he almost bobbled it, recovered, was able to take it up. Got that one inside the Broncos 20. That will be good enough for a first down.
It's especially good to have drives like this because it just wears on the defense. It wears on your morale. It wears on your conditioning.
Yeah, absolutely. And for a defense who, like we've seen in other parts of this game, it helps so much if you feel like there's one element of the offense's game that you're shutting down. But it's been pretty equal parts pass and rush here. Master Demos cutting up the left side. He had a blocked stretches for the end zone, and he's in.
Yeah, just check the field, though, because there is some laundry out there. They're going to call a hold on, I believe that's number 7. Liam Crane, I think they're going to call on a hold.
Yeah, Broncos, knowing that this is penalty's going to bring the play back, as Master Demos had that pass thrown to him. He was behind a receiver who was in front of him and then tried to kind of sneak in behind that DB and dive towards that left goalpost. But you're right, he had a teammate behind him who was pulling a defender off of him.
Yeah, the first guy he got by who was reaching out is where the hold happened. And those are really frustrating because that block was locked up really nicely. And because of the way the runner went outside rather than inside like the blocker was expecting, it allows the DB to try to spin off the block, and if you don't let him go, then you're going to get called on that every single time.
So that's what happens here for the Sun. Going to move it back to become 1st and 20. Ball still at the Kamloops 29-yard line here. It's going to be a pass here for Wenman. Try to screen play into the middle. It's Corey with the... No, they're saying he did not get that cleanly. Incomplete there. Looked like a bit of a messy play there for the Sun, just trying that screen pass, and it was Corey who had the ball thrown to him, but a bit of a low pass right at the top of his shoes, and he wasn't able to come up with the football.
Yeah, it looked sort of like he might have gotten his feet tangled up with the pulling O-lineman, and just couldn't hit the brakes quick enough to actually catch that ball where he normally would have.
So incomplete pass. Wenman really hasn't had a lot of those tonight. One of the first times we're saying that. Going to bring about 2nd and 20. Looking down the field this time. Here's Wenman. Throws it up the middle. There's a pass. Bobbled in the end zone and just unable to come up with it is Nathaniel Anderson.
Great play by the defense there. I'd like to see somebody on defense go to try to get their hand on that ball, but both defenders both tried to lay the hit, and it did work to pop the ball loose. So,
yeah, that one just off the fingertips of the 6-foot Anderson, who went up to get it, but you're right, he was just being hit as he was trying to come down with it, and
couldn't squeeze.
A fun play for you defensive guys when you know that that receiver's trying to bobble that ball, and you can just sort of knock them right off of it.
Yeah, it's a great moment to separate the guy. We have no flags in the post, so I'm not sure what the wind is, but it looks like we are going for a field goal from...
Yeah, Wagner lining up here. This one, just inside 40 yards. That kick is just wide right. So back to run it is Joseph out of his own end zone. He runs it up to close to the 15-yard line. Looks like somebody lost a helmet down there, too. Sorry, Carson, just going to say decent return there for Max Joseph, out having to run out of his own end zone and taking it up to about the 15-yard line.
Yeah, I know that was a missed field goal, but he definitely had enough leg to get that kick from another, like, at least 10 yards. I'm a little surprised that they haven't gone for some previous field goals.
Yeah, you're right. They had that opportunity back in the late in the first quarter where it would have probably been about a 45, 46 yard attempt, and you're right, they didn't go for it that time. There was a time even before that where the Sun went for it on third down.
Yeah.
But that kick by Wagner, like you say, good strength on that boot, just a little bit wide right. And so here it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Broncos at their own, rather, a 20-yard line. One back in motion. Henkel is going to pass it up the middle this time off his back foot. Huge toss, and he just missed. Was heading up the far side for Tim Solipa.
He's not going to get any stats for that, but that was a great play there by Ty Kitzman. Just as the ball's in the air, shading yourself to get in front of that receiver so that he has to go around you, kind of forced that ball to be not quite there. Had he not infringed on that route at all, it would have been probably complete.
Exactly. It's a great point because he impedes Solipa just a little bit there. The ball ends up being a couple yards in front of him. If he doesn't, you're right, that's probably a completion there. Back to pass once again, under pressure, throwing to the same side as Henkel. That one is complete. This time, he and Tim Solipa able to connect. That one up near the 50-yard line of the Broncos, but there is a flag down.
Yeah, I'm not sure which way they're going to go with this. The DB and receiver were having a little bit of a hand battle going on. So I'm not sure if they're going to call the receiver on pushing off or the DB on holding. Or if it's somewhere else in the field even.
Yeah, looks like officials are getting ready to set the ball up near where that catch from Solipa came.
We have illegal conduct. Number 6 on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
So Kitzman whistled with the illegal contact play there. A 32-yard completion between Colby Henkel and Tim Solipa. They missed on the first down play, connect on the second down try. And it's the Broncos up near midfield now. That's Brody Bernier in motion. Going to be a handoff here. Punching it up the gut is Trent Price. His first carry on the evening. And he's going to get close to a first down here. Looks like it'll be just about a yard shy inside the Sun 50. Injured player down on the field as well. Just trying to see.
That's Brandon Melbourne, I think.
Okay, yeah, there you go. 53, Brandon Melbourne now getting attended to. So with that, we'll take a quick break here. 8:55 left to go here in the second quarter. It's the Sun with a 7-0 lead over Kamloops. You're listening to Okanagan Sun Football right here on AM 1150 and BCFC TV.
When you have Big Steel Box, moving and storage are almost too easy. From kickoff to the final play, they're on your team. They'll drop the Big Steel Box off at your place, then you pack it at your pace, and when you're ready, give Big Steel Box a call to come pick up the box and move it or store it. Simple and secure. Big Steel Box is a better way to move and store your stuff. Check them out at BigSteelBox.com. Proud supporter of the Okanagan Sun.
From our team to yours, this is Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150.
Welcome back here to the Apple Bowl. It's the Okanagan Sun at home to the Kamloops Broncos, and the Sun enjoying a 7-0 lead at this point in the ball game. 8:55 left to go here in the second quarter. I know we just came back, but it's the Kamloops Broncos who have called a timeout. So we've got to get a quick break in here once again. We'll be back with more second quarter action in a couple minutes. You're listening to the Sun on AM 1150.
Barbecue services, Fire GM.
Win or lose, touchdown or turnover, JDS Energy and Mining is proud to support local sports in Kelowna. They believe it's important to put youth at play where they can learn to be leaders. They believe in the habits and values learned from working in a team. They believe the skills today youth learn in organized sports will strengthen our community. JDS Energy and Mining, a proud community partner of local sports in Kelowna and your Okanagan Sun.
This is Okanagan Sun football. Hear it, live it on AM 1150.
Welcome back here once again to Kelowna. Now we're about ready for football here. As the Broncos fresh off a timeout with 8:55 to go here in the second quarter, down just 7-0. Evan Cook alongside Carson Park. Looks like a pretty good offensive series right now for the Broncos, who've been able to take it up from deep in their own territory past midfield. This is going to be a handoff once again up the middle, and Sun going to slow their man down. Still good enough for a first down, however.
That was a great run right there. He got wrapped up, swarmed really 2 or 3 yards deep, and he still managed to push the pile forward for a measurement anyway. I think it's first down.
Yeah, I think it should be good from what our naked eyes could see there, but that's Trent Price again with his second rush of the game, and you're right. He was wrapped up by a couple of players right near that line of scrimmage, and he just kept motoring on through. But as far as the Broncos go, this seems to be their best offensive series of the ball game at this point.
Definitely. I'm a little surprised that last play looked like it was a designed option play where the quarterback could have pulled it and run. Mm-hmm. And with how many guys were pretty much tackling the running back before he even had the ball, I thought he would have pulled it. But it worked out for them anyway.
Colby Henkel, a guy who's certainly mobile in the pocket, but we haven't seen him really take off and run the ball yet so far tonight. Interesting if that's something to come potentially. But like I say, a guy who also has just a very strong arm. You can tell he's had some big throws tonight off his back foot under pressure. So first down as the result of that measurement. So it'll be 1st and 10 here for the Broncos from the Okanagan 48-yard line.
Not sure what's happening here. We have Eli Haynes has wandered over to the Sun sideline. Cleaning up more blood, it looks like. So this is an official timeout then.
Yeah, Haynes getting sent off for that, so we'll have a quick delay. And in lieu of a break here, maybe talk a little bit more about the Broncos offense and Carson, what you're seeing at this point and what's made them successful over this drive down the field, which started, I believe, inside their own 30-yard line and now finds them up past midfield.
Yeah, they haven't made any big plays per se in terms of yardage, but every time they've needed to make a big play in terms of keeping the drive alive, they've really come up with it. And as long as they can keep doing that, they're going to keep driving the field.
For sure, the big completion on this one to Tim Solipa. That, I believe, was a 32-yard connection between Henkel and Solipa on a second down play to keep this play. Instead of having it 2 and out for Kamloops, kept it going, and a couple runs later they find themselves past the Okanagan 50. So Haynes jogs back on after getting tended to in the sideline. So now we're back and ready to go. First down play. That's the back. Joseph in motion. Play action there to Henkel. Far side throwing. He was looking for Solipa.
That was a great play action. Getting the ball right into the running back's stomach and the running back collapsing over it. Actually getting tackled is always... When you're playing running back and you don't have the football and you convince someone to tackle you, there's not that many better feelings on a football field. Something about tricking other people. I'm not sure what it is.
No, it's a great point. And with the defense biting there, you saw all kinds of time that Henkel was able to buy himself with that great fake. Just missing Solipa, who was cutting over the left side of the field. Back to pass here, over to the far side. This complete. No, it's dropped there. Brody Bernier was the receiver who had a big game against the Valley Huskers last week, but just hasn't factored in as much here on the Kamloops offense to this point in the game.
No, I definitely expected to hear his name more as the game has gone on in this first quarter and getting towards the halfway point of the second.
So some of that momentum that the Broncos had, we had a timeout from each team, and it's kind of stalled here. Third down play forcing Kamloops back to punt. Looks like it is Liam Crane back there on the kick return for the Sun on this one. But here's Couture. It is a fake punt. No, he just was running out of coverage. Now he boots it. Nice one on the run. Crane bobbled it, and he's under pressure right away. Tries to get back up, but he's going to be wrapped up.
There's the excitement of special teams that you don't get in the other aspects of the game.
Yeah.
Kicker's been sick of getting rushed, so he makes a decision to deke around the rusher, buy himself a little time to get the kickoff, which impacts the kick. And then Liam rushing himself a little bit, trying to catch it, bobbles it, and almost puts it back on the ground.
Yeah, pretty savvy play there from the rookie kicker, Bryce Couture, who, like you say, I thought it could have been a fake punt at first, the way he was trying to rush it up the outside, but then on the run kicking it, easier said than done if you're a kicker there. And he made a nice one, forcing Crane backwards, and like you say, he rushes that one, and it's the Sun deep in their own territory. Wenman's back to pass. He goes deep up the right side, trying to dive for it, and unable to come up with the ball that time. I think that was Anderson over the far side.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to decide the corner there was making a little bit too much of contact.
Yeah, he got up looking for the flag. One was thrown. We'll see.
You know, the defensive side of the ball, you want to be able to stay in front of your receiver and make him go around you, but you don't. And there's going to be a little bit of contact back and forth.
15-yard penalty, first down.
But you kind of have to find that line to skate where you can't get too much contact going that they're going to throw a flag against you.
So it's a flag against the defense, and that will be gains for the Sun, who move up past their own 25-yard line. Wenman's going to hand this one off. Looked like it went to Rodriguez. The two of them got tangled up by the D lineman of the Broncos there, so it will be about a loss of a yard on this one. Going to be 2nd and 11 now for the Sun.
Both teams have done a great job today in living in one another's backfield. Seen a lot of tackles for a loss, a lot of wrap-ups at the handoff point.
Yeah, it's well said, because we have seen some decent runs from both teams as well tonight. We've seen the offenses be able to open up that line a little bit and use the tight end like we've seen a couple of times, but we've seen lots of good defense as well as just stuffing that up in the middle. Now pass complete over the middle. This one's caught up near the 50-yard line. That's Nathaniel Anderson for the Sun, who just missed a pass a couple plays ago, gets the redemption there.
That was a great throw and catch, finding that soft spot in the cover 3, right up the seam. Spot they've looked for a few times earlier in the game. That was where that collision happened, down near the goal line, to knock the ball loose. And yeah, you have to thread that needle a little quicker, which they got managed there.
So it's 1st and 10, Okanagan 51-yard line. Wenman once again alone to throw. Going to complete it this time. That one to Mastrodimos. And he'll get up close to a first down, but a couple of yards shy. For Tyson Mastrodimos, about a gain of close to 8 there. 2nd and 2 for the Sun as they're now over midfield.
Oh, looks like they have a tight end out too again. Expect the run.
Trying to see who that is behind Wenman. They're lining up in the I formation here. 2nd and short. It's a pass play over to the far side. That one incomplete. That one off the hands of Anderson.
I'm really not sure about that whistle there. That looked to me like that pass was definitely backwards, which should have been a lateral fumble.
And you saw Anderson think that to himself as he went back to pick up that ball just to make sure after it had gone off his hands. But you're right, Wenman was right up at the line. He had the two backs behind him. Tried for that kind of quick slant throw to the sideline, but yeah, it sure looked like a lateral behind him. Nonetheless, it's back to punt. A dropped snap there. Just getting the punt off there was Wagner. Going to send Joseph back to collect it near his own 10-yard line. He's getting wrapped up there as he tries to dodge a few tackles. Maybe a gain of a yard or two.
That was a very risky kick, but a great kick.
Yeah, boy, it sure was there for the kicker for the Sun, Isaac Wagner, who just got that off, like you say, but by the time he did get the kick off, his teammates had already gotten down to about the 10 where Max Joseph picks that ball up, and a nice stop there to stop him from making any kind of serious yardage gain on a return.
Yeah, definitely. That's Kamloops is definitely going to look back at that play as one of the few plays in the game that could have gone the other way.
Yeah, it certainly could have. Wouldn't that have been big to turn the tide for the Broncos had they managed to block a punt there? Instead, they're back out on their own 13-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Broncos.
Well, they're isolating the receiver on the far side.
Joseph in motion, fake handoff there, keeping the ball throwing over to the far side and just incomplete. Henkel trying to find Nick Haikawi on that far side. He was wrapped up there and dropped to the back. Haikawi was trying to sort of reach behind the defender to come up with that pass and couldn't do it.
Yeah, that was Trey Adams there on the coverage, just sticking to him. Again, I'd like to see a defensive back try to get a hand on that football instead of just separating the man from the ball with their shoulders, but it was effective again. So
yeah, it sure was, because like we say, the DB was on the right side of the football to come up with a pick that time. It just got wrapped up with the receiver. Back to pass on 2nd down, over to that far side. That one is just almost caught. I didn't want to call it until he kind of turned around, and a near interception there.
Yeah, that was Zach Newman. I believe he's been playing halfback on the far side.
Yeah, Newman, who dove down with the receiver to try to come up with that ball, almost had it, but as he hit the field, wasn't able to maintain possession of that football nonetheless. A big stop once again for the Sun D. Couple pass plays broken up by the secondary, and that'll force the Broncos deep in their own end of the field. 3:45 left to go here. And it'll be a punt out of his own end zone for Bryce Couture. Now moves up right to the goal line. That's where the kick is going to come up the middle of the field. Crane's going to go back to get it near the opponent's 50-yard line. Crane cutting to the right side near that sideline. Cut back in for a moment near the 30. And finally is going to get angled out.
Down around the 30-yard line.
I'm a little surprised they didn't do the classic take a knee in the end zone there, but that's a move I've never really been a fan of myself, so I'm happy they didn't go with that option.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because it was a play that we saw West Shore concede the safety to the Sun in the game last week, and it was a play that actually ended up working out for the Rebels, rather, because it eliminated the Sun with a great field possession and kind of helped swing that momentum back the other way. The Broncos elect not to do that this time, and it's the Sun 1st and 10 on the Kamloops 30-yard line. Wenman now passing, going to complete that time. This one to Mastrodimos. Flag is down. He's cutting up the right side, still in, and walks in for the score. That's Liam Crane, rather. I have a feeling that is going to be coming back, though, on a flag that was thrown pretty soon after Crane made that catch, and it is going to be a penalty against the Sun, so that'll wipe the touchdown off the board.
Yeah, a lot of clipping penalties today. It's really disappointing because it takes away a lot of big plays. But
yeah, absolutely. It's the second Sun touchdown that has been brought back because of an illegal contact play.
Illegal block, 22 in the offense. After the first down was made, the 10-yard penalty, first down.
So Kyler Mosley
Ball with the play, it'll be 1st and 10 after the penalty. The ball is
whistled with the illegal block. So 1st and 10, that'll be at the 28-yard line of the Broncos now. Just over 3 minutes left to go here in the opening half. This will be the final play before that 3-minute warning. Wemmen rolling out of the pocket. Fakes one pass. Now he's going to run with it. Flag is down in the backfield. Wemmen sliding out of bounds at the 15-yard line. But it's going to be an offensive hold that will bring this play back as well as we head into the 3-minute warning here. With the clock now down to 2:48, Suns still leading by a touchdown, 7-0.
Holding, 22 in the offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Tough series for Mosley here. That's the second straight penalty called on him. And so that'll back the line of scrimmage all the way up to the 38-yard line. 1st and 20 for the Sun. Officials now all huddling by the spot of the football. And it looks like we are going to take a little bit of a timeout right now. So we will as well in the broadcast come back here for the final couple minutes of the second half. It's the Sun and the Broncos right here on AM 1150.
Rona is a proud sponsor of your Okanagan Sun and a strong community supporter. They're ready to help you tackle every project you've got. Think Rona for every job, from renovating the house to upgrading the bathroom. Whether it's a huge undertaking or just a small fix-up, they have the products, the prices, and the expertise you need to get the job done right. Visit Rona.ca and tackle every project with Rona. Doing it right. 1711 Springfield Road. Proud sponsor of your Okanagan Sun.
You're listening to Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150.
Welcome back here. The Sun just off of that 1st and 20 place have an incomplete from Wenman, so it'll bring up 2nd and 20 now.
Pretty much from the exact spot they kicked their field goal from earlier, too. So we'll see what decisions made here on the next down if they don't gain anything out of this.
Or attempted that field goal anyway. It didn't go now. A pass, this one to Master Demos on the left side. He's wrapped up there by a defender. Tackle there made by Caden Cook, who just grabbed onto the leg of Master Demos and held on, not allowing the receiver of the Sun to get anywhere. And so that'll bring up about 3rd down. Ball being spotted just outside the 40-yard line of the Broncos. Based on what we've seen so far, you'd be expecting a punt, but...
Yeah, it looks like a punt coming out here. That was a very interesting formation. We had number 58, Matthew Robinson, lined up way out wide with the wide receivers for that screen.
So it's Wagner back at the left hash at midfield, accepting the ball. Punting this one toward the end zone there. Coming in on that one, it's touched. Ball is loose. The Sun have it, they think.
Landed right on a foot of the blocker, guy who's blocking the gunner there.
And it's the Sun who pick up the football. What a huge play there, as Max Joseph, who's the regular punt returner there for the Broncos, all he could really helplessly do was look as the ball glanced off, like you say, the foot of his teammate. It kicked up near that 15-yard line of the Broncos, and it's the Sun. I didn't see who the first guy was to dive into that big pile. But all of a sudden, with 2:11 left to go in the quarter, the Sun are preparing for 1st and down from the Broncos 15.
I think the Broncos are pleading their case for no yards.
Yeah, a couple of the captains went over to the officials right away.
And I believe that would be the case had it been the guy being blocked who'd recovered it, but since it's bounced way back into the Sun coverage team, I think they're all right.
So 1st and 10 from the 15 here. Going to be a ball on the ground. This one run up the middle. And a gain of about 5 yards. Robbie Rodriguez with tough yards there.
Mark him at the 11, gain of 5, second and 5.
Going to be spotted at the 11-yard line here, so putting that up on the board is second and about 5 yards to go right now.
Oh, the Sun coming out and isolating Liam Crane on our near side.
Yeah, Crane there on our near side. Lining up with the quarterback is Corey. He is going to get the ball, cut inside now, and take it all the way down close to the 5. That should be good enough for a first down.
Around the first down marker.
That was a nice little run there by Curry, finding that hole, that running lane.
Yeah, sure was. He was kind of cutting across in front of Wenman. He just ran right past that line, cut in, and found that hole. Good enough for a first down. Good patience here by the Sun, who haven't attacked the end zone, even though we're late in the quarter here with good field position. And we are going to get a measurement on this one.
We also have 2 defensive players coming out on the field. I believe that was Eli Haynes and Sean Robinson. So I expect they'd probably line up as tight end for some extra power, trying to push the line.
Wenman heading over to the sidelines to get the play call directly from Mike Waldhausen on that instance.
We have Eli at the near side tight end and Robinson at the far side.
Yeah, you're right there. Is lining up in the I formation here are the Sun. It's Wenman with the keep on that one.
Wenman keeps the football and now dives over the pile, over the 5-yard line.
It was a 3rd and inches scenario there for the Sun, and so that will gain them at least a yard and will be a first down here. So with 1:37 left to go, Sun up 7-0 at this point, trying to double their lead before halftime.
And both defensive players staying in here and goal line package.
They sure are. We're seeing if they would jog off the field. They did not. First and goal from the 5-yard line for the Sun. There's a pitch backwards, and unable to come up with it was the Sun. Back, it looks like Kamloops has recovered the football, and they have.
Yeah, that was a real risky play by the Sun. They had an offset offensive line before the snap with only one lineman on the left side of the line, and went with some sort of misdirection pitch play and just couldn't connect on the pitch.
Yeah, tough play there where the quarterback and the running back are both moving at the same time. They're trying to connect with each other on a pitch backwards. And after a big special teams play by the Sun, recovered a ball deep in Kamloops territory, a huge defensive play there by the Broncos that time to pick up the football and get the offense back on the field here with just over a minute to go in the first half of the ball game.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that was just a case of being a little too cute by the goal line. I'd like to see that play called more closer to the middle of the field.
So 1st and 10 for the Broncos. This one from their own 16-yard line. Henkel back under pressure, one arm on him. Still gets the throw off into the middle of the field. That one's going to be picked off. It's Kitzman with the interception, cutting up the right side, still on his feet, cutting to the end zone. He is in. There is a flag.
There's been a lot of flags today on touchdown plays. We'll see how this goes.
Boy, Ty Kitzman, who had that game-ending interception for the Sun at the end of last week's ball game. Like I say, Henkel had an arm all over him as he tried. Still got a lot on that pass up the middle of the field, but not enough. And there to catch it fairly easily was Kitzman, but it looks like this penalty is going to go against the Sun and negate that.
Got a legal block. 45 on the Sun. The 10-yard penalty. First down.
So it's after the interception, so that means the interception will stand here. A change of possession once again. Ty Kitzman with the huge interception there. Penalty to the Sun, however, on that instance going to Hayward Beasley.
Yeah, that's 2 interceptions in 2 weeks for Kitzman. That's a trend he's going to want to continue for the season.
Yeah, absolutely. With 1 minute and 2 seconds left, it'll be first and down Okanagan on the Kamloops 25-yard line.
Still just a 7-0 game here.
Still just a 7-0 game. It's interesting. It has felt like more of a lead at times. As a handoff there. That one to Rodriguez on the far side. Dodges a tackle. Robbie Rodriguez, a nice rush there up near the first down marker. Might be a yard or two short. Clock stopping here in this final minute, 56 seconds separating us and the end of the first half. Second down and 2 to go. Women lining up with the shotgun here. There's the handoff. It is to Rodriguez, and he's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. That'll move the Sun back in to about a 3rd down and 5 situation at the 20-yard line of the Broncos, and the field goal unit is coming onto the field.
Yeah, I didn't catch which linebacker it was, but one of the Broncos linebackers approached the line of scrimmage and looked like he knew the cadence. So it'll be interesting to see going forward if they change the cadence up at all, because the defense is starting to pick up on it.
Yeah, adjustments we saw in that Week 1 win for the Sun, where that veteran, solid defensive line of the West Shore Rebels was picking up on that early and making life difficult for the Sun offense. Kick here from just inside 30 yards. It is up, and it is good. Isaac Wegner connects for his first field goal of the evening, and that will extend the Okanagan lead to 10-0 here. You knew that especially after that last turnover, the Sun wanted to take advantage of the Broncos' turnover to give them the ball deep in the Kamloops end of the field, and that time they come away with points.
Yeah, there was a Caden Cook, 28 for the Broncos there with the dive for the block. Sort of thought he was going to get a little closer than he may have gotten, but a lot of big special teams plays.
Yeah.
Sort of getting me to the point where I'm expecting it every time somebody kicks a football.
Yeah, some of those snaps we've seen that have been dicey and have made plays that you wouldn't think would be necessarily too close, a lot closer tonight. And that play for the Sun exactly ending up as they wanted to take a 10-0 lead here, give Kamloops a 1st and 10 from their own 35.
Scrimmage from their own 35 following the successful field goal.
Just 25 seconds to go, separating us between here and halftime. Coming up at the half, we'll, of course, talk a little bit about what's gone on here in the opening half of the ball game, as well a conversation I had with Sun rookie linebacker Sean Robinson. That all coming up in halftime of this ball game tonight. Henkel there fakes a handoff, another nice one there, throws behind the receiver, was trying to connect there with Tim Solipa.
Yeah, as a receiver, you really have to pull those ones in. That was right a little behind him, so he had to reach back for it, but it did go right off his hand, so it hurt, not physically, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, you hear it from receivers who say that if a lot of times if there's a ball going off their hands, then it means the ball was good enough to catch. And that one there, Solipa, who's been a popular target so far of Colby Henkel tonight, just unable to come up with the football. Clock down to 22 seconds, 2nd and 10 here for the Broncos. This a rush, and finding a little bit of daylight there was Andrew Pockernick. He'll get up to the Kamloops 47, 48-yard line. Still going to be short of a 1st down. And we'll bring up 3rd down and a few. 3rd and 3 is what we're looking at right now. Just 21 seconds left. And it looks like at this point the Broncos are prepared to go for it on this 3rd down play with the clock so far down, though. Here's Henkel jogging off the field at this point.
Having a chat with the coach and an official there. Now looks like the punt team's coming out.
Yeah, here we go. So a bit of a delayed decision there by the Broncos to see what they were going to do, end up punting this football away. And for the Sun, I mean, a pretty solid half in terms of pitching a shutout here as we approach halftime. How would you kind of rank what you've seen on the Okanagan D right now?
Well, both defenses have played pretty well, actually. I was expecting more of an offensive showing from both sides. Yeah, the Sun are shutting everything down. They've taken away those big plays that kind of hurt them last week. And, yeah, there's nothing to really criticize on either defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Timekeeper, please take 3 seconds off the clock. Make it 18 seconds remaining.
Okay, so that instruction coming straight from the referee to knock that clock down to 18 seconds. It'll be back to punt here for Bryce Couture. Gets this one up to Crane, who catches it at his own 35-yard line, dodges a couple of tackles, and dances his way up to the 47.
Yeah, much better snap that time, so hopefully they are coming back more crisp now.
Yeah, that's something that you were picking up on early in this football game, where those snaps just were kind of floating up in the air as they got back to Couture, and they were putting the punter in some precarious positions on the field.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting. It looks like both snappers have sort of opposite issues going on right now. The Broncos snappers trying to get the enough power to get the ball back there at an appropriate time and not float it up too high. And the Sunlong snapper keeps putting it right around the knees, which is a tough place to catch it for the punter. And we've seen one drop out of that so far. So
clock down to 9 seconds here. Wenman's just going to hand it off. This to Mosley. He's going to throw it downfield, and a diving play. Looks like they're going to call that a pass complete to Anderson.
It's going to be an issue with the clock because only 1 second came off the clock there. So I'm sure the official's going to inform us here again in a second if we have any time for another play.
Yeah, good call there. The clock was at 9 seconds. It's just down to 8 now. But kind of a tricky play for the Sun there, where Wenman hands it off to Mosley, who's in motion cutting behind him. He picks it up and makes a pretty nice toss, actually, up the right side.
Please take 4 seconds off the clock with 4 seconds remaining. Thank you.
Okay, so the officials saying in their best estimate that took all of 5 seconds to complete, so we're probably good for one more play here in the first half. Just 4 seconds to go. Wenman going to pitch out to his left, throw it up there, and the pass bobbled by Nathaniel Anderson at that point. That will take the clock down as we hit halftime here at the Apple Bowl.
I was hoping to see a field goal attempt there, but I'm sure the return abilities of Max Joseph kind of convinced them not to take that risk.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen some good runs out of him tonight, even ones on the missed field goal from Joseph where he took it out of his own end zone. Nice near 20-yard return on that one, and that forces the Sun to pass on the final play of the half. It is dropped and incomplete to shut things down here in the opening half of this ball game. Well, after the first 30 minutes of this one, it's the Okanagan Sun 10, the Kamloops Broncos no score. Coming up on the halftime show, we'll be back to chat about how it all went from our eyes here up in the booth in the first half of the Apple Bowl. Again, we'll also be talking to Sun rookie linebacker Sean Robinson. Had a chance to speak with him earlier this week, so my conversation with him I'll play coming up here in halftime. We'll take a quick break here. You're listening to Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150 and BCFC TV.
Dunbar Villas, Highland single-family lots, 2 show homes, and a new phase under construction. We're very busy providing new ways to live in the middle of everywhere. Hi, I'm Greg from Blue Sky, where our show home in the Highlands at Carnegie is now open. With only a few view lots across the street, this could be your last chance to see what life is like to live at the highest lots in Kelowna.
Blue Sky at blackmountain.ca.
One dish, two dish, red dish, blue dish.
What are you and the baby up to, Eric?
I just showed him how to fix a dishwasher.
He's a little young, don't you think?
Never too young to learn about appliances, Bree. My next lesson is one sock, two socks, red sock, blue sock.
Fixing a dryer?
You know it.
Eric loves to fix appliances. Homeowner or landlord, get fast quotes and faster response. Eric's Refrigeration and Appliances. 991 Ellis at the corner of Recreation. Online, ericsrefrigeration.ca.
We all want a good seat in the theater, but for those with a digestive disease or disorder, it can mean frequent trips to a seat in the washroom. At any given time, around 2 out of 3 Canadians will be affected by a gastrointestinal condition. It affects quality of life, relationships, limits travel and career options, and can be embarrassing. Got a bad gut? Visit badgut.org for good advice. A message from the broadcasters of British Columbia.
Starting tomorrow on E!
I'm Kylie, and this is my life.
Kylie Jenner.
There's two sides of me.
Like you've never seen her before.
There's an image that I feel constantly pressure to keep up with, and who I really am around my friends. That's who I want you guys to get to know.
An E! Original series premiere.
I don't want to look back and regret not being a teenager.
Life of Kylie starts tomorrow at 6.
This show is a gift for my fans.
Only on E!
Do you think the Okanagan Sun will win their next game?
With a home stadium named after a fruit? I doubt it.
The Apple Bowl? That's never stopped them before. They're 14-time BC champions.
Must be their lucky charm.
At Simply Computing, Apple's their specialty too. So why not visit them for all your Apple hardware? Shop downtown at 1546 Pandosy or online at simply.ca. Simply Computing, proudly supporting the Okanagan Sun.
Win or lose, touchdown or turnover, JDS Energy and Mining is proud to support local sports in Kelowna. They believe it's important to put youth at play where they can learn to be leaders. They believe in the habits and values learned from working in a team. They believe the skills today youth learn in organized sports will strengthen our community. JDS Energy and Mining, a proud community partner of local sports in Kelowna and your Okanagan Sun.
I knew it was a pretty special project. Just the way it was situated, the view is stunning. It's a really nice house.
Gord Turner on the house his team built that won House of the Year at this year's Tommy Awards.
The way the deck flies out off the house, and it's got this thin foil look that the architect was looking for. And again, I can't say enough, our team, we helped them pull that off.
To see this dream home for yourself or to book Turner Custom Homes to build your next dream home, visit turnercustomhomes.ca.
Kelowna, August is Muscle Tech Madness Month at Popeyes.
Popeyes.
All your favorites on sale like Hydroxycut, one of Canada's best-selling supplements, now in an exclusive size to Popeyes.
Popeyes.
Also newly available are Muscle Tech's amazing BCAA formulas in peach mango and white grape. Come get a sample today at Popeyes on Springfield Road, the official supplements provider to your Kelowna Rockets, Sun Football, and Kelowna Falcons. August is Muscle Tech Madness Month at Popeyes.
It starts here. This is Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150.
Welcome back to halftime at the Apple Bowl. Okanagan Sun here at home taking on the Kamloops Broncos in Week 2 of the BCFC 2017 season. And it's the hometown Sun who find themselves out in front of the visitors 10-0 here at halftime. Well, as mentioned, coming up here, we'll get to an interview that did a little bit earlier this week with Sean Robinson. We've talked a little bit about the Sun defense, talked a lot actually about the Sun defense over the course of the first couple weeks of this season. And Robinson, one of the key parts of this linebacking core for the Sun. He's a first-year player out of Sackville, New Brunswick, coming a long way out here from the East Coast to the West here to suit up for the Sun this year. Of course, Robinson surrounded by some solid veterans on this linebacking core. Cody Thompson, Ryan Marquardt, Connor Richard, who was ranked in the top 50 of the CJFL in their rankings, the power rankings that they do just before the start of the regular season. So lots of veteran guys to talk to, but for the first year, Robinson getting everything thrown at him and then some as a rookie here on this Sun defense. So here is my chat from a little bit earlier this week with Sun linebacker Sean Robinson.
So I guess first question, let's get you to talk about how it's been so far since joining these guys and how it's all kind of gone for you through the first week here.
It's going great. Everything's coming together here. Since we had our first game, it's shown that we're able to play the game, and we know how fast we can play now and a lot faster once the time comes.
Yeah, I mean, looking into the start of this season, obviously a big part of main camp was kind of getting up to speed and getting that intensity up. Did you guys feel ready, would you say, once you finally had the chance to get in the field last week and get into game action?
Yeah, definitely. I think for us it was more just getting the jitters out because the first 2 touchdowns that West Shore had was completely on ourselves. So once the second quarter late and the rest of the second half came, we felt much more together on top of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the thing where you don't get preseason, right, is that you don't maybe get to work through some of those jitters and some of that. Did you find that kind of once you got into the game, obviously you mentioned they scored those touchdowns early, but once you got into the game, it just started to feel a lot better for you?
Yeah, I think his thing, too, is once you get a feel out for a team and understand the speed that you're playing at, then you'll get a lot more comfortable. Coming into this game, we didn't know because they had a lot of new players, but so did we. So at the same time, both teams adjusted, and thank God we came out on top.
What about for you preparing for this season? How did that go? What kinds of things were you personally doing over the course of the offseason to get ready for this year?
Just staying in the weight room, getting on the field as much as we can, and just staying focused. Because in football, you got to have 100% focus. So, yep, definitely that.
And in terms of the linebacking core that you guys have this year, definitely, I mean, like any other position, right, there's a mix of guys that are veterans, guys that are new. What's that been like with that mix?
Well, so far, I think it's really good so far. The 3 of us, Eli, Haynes, and Connor, Richard, and myself, and even the other guys that rotate, we all chemistry definitely started to blend in so far now coming into our second game, so I'm excited to see what we're going to do this second game.
Chemistry is a good question, right? Because with you guys at linebacker, it really comes down to knowing where the other guys are going to be and what some of their tendencies are, and how does that kind of start to play out as you get to be more comfortable with your teammates, get to kind of know where they are, but you know that that chemistry is so important, right?
Definitely. Going in and out of practice every day, we get to see what each other is about, our strengths and our weaknesses. So I definitely see that we're building off each other and starting to trust each other, because without it, we wouldn't be as good as everyone thinks we are.
A couple questions for you. First, for you personally, what are kind of your goals in terms of growing as a player? What the skills that you want to continue to develop this season? What do you kind of look at there?
I definitely want to be consistent every time. Every time I step on the field, no matter what it is, I want to do my job 100% and definitely get to the ball. So as a player, just all-around player is what I'm shooting for, and definitely be a great teammate.
And as we look forward to this weekend, obviously playing a team against Kamloops, who put up 41 points in their home opener, how much have you looked at those guys this week in terms of looking at that matchup, or have you just kind of worried about yourselves?
No, we definitely take a consideration of what they're doing 100%, just like every other team we're at prep, just as we would prep for West Shore or any team in Ontario or any team in the Prairie. So our preparation's 100%, and then focus on ourselves being the best.
And what kinds of things do you see out of this group of Kamloops that you're going to be playing? What kinds of things specifically are you preparing for with them? It's obviously going to be a confident group coming in with the way that their home opener went. I mean, obviously they didn't have the toughest opposition week 1 either, so how do you kind of gauge how they're going to come at you here?
Well, I was told it's a pretty big rival game between us and them, so definitely going to see them coming out competitive and wanting to win, because they're in it just as we are, and I don't think they'd hold back. So there's no taking our foot off the pedal at all, and we're definitely going to take it to them 100%.
Sounds good. Well, listen, Sean, thanks for this, and good luck this week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Sean Robinson, Okanagan Sun rookie linebacker, speaking with me this week about life in the Sun defense and how it's gone for him here in his first season. We'll take another break, come back, talk about the first half action right here on AM 1150.
You've got a job to do. Backyard, front yard, renovations, or building the whole house. Big jobs or small, Win Rentals has the equipment for them all. From saws, drills, and ladders to the big guns like bobcats, excavators, compaction equipment, and genie lifts, Win Rentals has what you need to get the job done. So whether you're finishing a project in the backyard or leading a job site, rent the equipment that can help you get it done. Visit Win Rentals in Kelowna on McCurdy Road. Renting, it's the smart way to get things done.
Principals and teachers, did you know that 282,000 Canadian high school students report being bullied every month? Maybe your school's bullying problem is small, but it can get very serious very fast. Do you know how to handle serious cases of bullying? Do you know how to talk to victims and bullies? Even teachers and principals need help sometimes. Youth created bullyingcanada.ca understands that. Making a school safe takes a lot of hard work, but sometimes even the smallest of things makes the biggest difference. If you need suggestions on how to make your school a safer place, bullyingcanada.ca is there to put the PAL back into principle.
Win or lose, touchdown or turnover, JDS Energy and Mining is proud to support local sports in Kelowna. They believe it's important to put youth at play where they can learn to be leaders. They believe in the habits and values learned from working in a team. They believe the skills today youth learn in organized sports will strengthen our community. JDS Energy and Mining, a proud community partner of local sports in Kelowna and your Okanagan Sun.
Hey, it's Allie from Savoy Equipment. You could go to a big box store for a lawnmower, or you could get the best in customer service from us. We assemble, test, and even show you how to use your new machine. It doesn't end there either. We also fill up the gas and oil and help you load it into your vehicle. So you go home with a ready-to-use lawnmower, no hassle. That's the advantage of Savoy Equipment, the Okanagan's #1 outdoor power equipment retailer. Windsor Road, Kelowna, or SavoyEquipment.com.
Lakeshore Place is retirement living at its best, where you'll find a smile around every corner. You'll live in a vibrant community surrounded by the services you need to maintain an independent lifestyle, like shuttle service to wineries, theaters, and the restaurant of the month, or take a stroll to the park and Mission Park Shopping Center, all just minutes away. Lakeshore Place, retirement living, elegant and carefree. Space is limited in this close-knit community, so book a tour today. Visit lakeshore-place.com.
Home. It's your gathering place, a reflection of your tastes and personality. At Tylenol, we work with you to create a surrounding that matches your style. From contemporary to traditional or rustic to retro, our Tile Boutique has the perfect look for your home. You have a vision. Let our specialists at Tylenol help you bring it to life. Visit our Tile Boutique on Barron Road behind Costco. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 to 5. Online, tileandall.ca.
You might think that you won't get caught, that you haven't had that many, or you're fine to drive, but you'd be wrong. Drinking and driving remains one of the top 3 contributing factors for fatal car crashes in BC. Don't become a statistic. Make a smart choice. Make sure you have a sober designated driver, money for a taxi, a friend you can call for a ride, or a place to stay overnight. If you drink, don't drive.
This message brought to you by the BC RCMP.
Primetime Sports with Bob McCowan. He brings you insider sports knowledge and exclusive interviews. Be informed. Be in the know with Bob McCowan. Weekday afternoons 3 to 4 on AM 1150. News, talk, sports. You're listening to Kelowna's information station. CKFR, a division of Bell Media. We are AM 1150. News, talk, and sports. Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150.
Welcome back here to the Apple Bowl in Kelowna. We're preparing for second half action between the Okanagan Sun and the visiting Kamloops Broncos. My name's Evan Cook, joined by Carson Park up in the booth. We're seeing the Sun out to a 10-0 lead after that opening half. And this would normally be the time that we might have some halftime stats to give at you. That's not available to us at the moment, so we'll go more by recollection at this point. But in terms of what we're seeing, you spoke highly of the defenses, as obviously Okanagan's been limited to 10 points. The Sun defense pitching a shutout at this point. Talk a little bit about what you've seen from both sides at this point on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, really it's just all been about the big plays. Really, it's been a big field position battle. And the Sun have made turnovers when they needed to, and Kamloops, they've also made some big turnovers when they've needed to keep the score close, but they just haven't been able to capitalize to get any points on the board that way. Going into the second half, I'm looking to see more of Brody Bernier. We saw him out during halftime practicing, throwing the ball around, taking in some one-handed catches. So trying to get back into it, and hopefully he'll make more of an impact in the second half for Kamloops. But somebody has to make a play to get the 0 off the board.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a guy I was going to bring up for sure with you as somebody who we saw be quite successful in the opening weekend game. Brody Bernier, a fifth-year receiver on this team. He made 7 catches for 95 yards last week. A guy who is the key cog in this receiving core, but has been limited tonight. Only a couple times has the ball been thrown his way. Isaac Wagner kicks it off from the 45, second half underway as the ball takes a bounce down to the 25-yard line. Just diving backwards on that are the Broncos.
Well, last week we were talking about the Sun had a guy set up in the wedge, backpedal and kick to return it. And I mentioned that you don't really want to backpedal to catch those, but in that situation there, I think somebody from the wedge level definitely had to do something there to catch that ball, because way too much space between the ball and the returner.
Yeah, there sure was. It bounced about 5 to 7 yards before Hitesh Parekh finally was able to come up with it and dive on it. So deep in their own territory, the Broncos 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line. Pass over the middle. That one was a little bit of a dangerous-looking pass, falls incomplete.
Connor Richard could have had an interception there if he was looking at the ball instead of his man. Throw well behind the receiver, and he just turned his head and thrown his hands in the air. I'm sure he could have caught that.
Yeah, that pass from Colby Henkel kind of floated up there. I thought, I believe it was Raquel Cespedes on the Sun defense, too, who might have had a play. He's lined up at cornerback there and was just a couple yards away from being able to come in and make a catch there. But nonetheless, 2nd down and 10 from the 23-yard line of the Broncos. Under pressure now, and brought down is Henkel. A big sack there for the Sun D. Might have been a couple guys in on the tackle, not sure exactly who that was.
Yeah, I couldn't quite make it out. There was 2 or 3 guys wrapping him up there at the end. But no blitz package, just a 4-man rush. You like to see pressure coming out of that.
Yeah, it looked like Richard was in the middle of that. And a couple of guys going up in big celebration there. Mitch Lyons, the D lineman, one of those who was celebrating after that. But nonetheless, a huge sack to force the Broncos back to their own 16-yard line, punt the ball away from deep in their own territory. This one floating, bounces near the 40. That'll bounce all the way back to the 50-yard line where Anderson picks it up for the Sun. Cuts up the right side with speed. He gets taken down inside the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it was a great little return there on the sidelines. Not a whole lot of space, but he got a good 15 or 20 yards out of it.
Yeah, sure did, and it was it's a good play there by the Broncos to avoid the no yards penalty, but of course it's kind of the double-edged sword that makes defending so tough, is because you let that guy pick up the ball, get into his return with momentum like Anderson did, and by the time he was slowed down enough to be knocked down, he was 10 or so yards downfield. Another completion here as the Sun stack up that far side of the field with receivers. Wenman completes the pass. It's going to be a gain of about 5 yards. Actually, a couple more now as I look at the chains. Should be 2nd down and 2 or 3 here for the Sun as they approach the Broncos' 25-yard line.
Yeah. Just going back to that no yards point for a moment. If you're within 5 yards, you get a penalty for the flag. If you're the man to tackle the ball carrier and you're within 5 yards, it's a 15, not a 5-yard penalty. So
yeah, that's a good clarification too. It turns into a costly penalty at that. Here's a sack on the 2nd down play. It was.
Yeah, there's a great block on the near side by Kelton Curry, taking out 2 guys, but on the far side there was 2 defenders who came effectively untouched, and no time for the quarterback to set his feet and make a throw there.
Yeah, it was the defensive lineman coming in from that blind side behind Wenman, and it was Darby Kwan on the tackle picks up the sack there. So the big Quan, who had big tackles put up in last week's win for the Broncos, has continued to have a pretty solid game on defense, I've thought, for Kamloops so far tonight.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how the stats work out at the end of the game. He's been busy anyway.
Sun going for it on third down. Wenman to pass, and he was off his back foot as he was getting hot and bothered there in the pocket.
Is that number 92 for the D-line?
Yeah, it looked like Tevin McCarty, who had gotten in his face on that play. So big third down stop, turnover on downs here for the Sun. Another interesting play where they're third down, probably on the fringe of that field goal territory, but they decide to go for it on third down.
Yeah, I'm sure that has more to do with the Broncos returner than it does the Sun kicker, although that is right at the limit of his kick power, and in the Canadian game, the kick return is way bigger than it is in the NFL.
So 1st and 10 on the 33-yard line for the Broncos.
I think there was early movement on the O-line there.
Stepping up to pass there is Henkel. His pass ball's incomplete. He was once again looking for Tim Salipa.
A lot of traffic into that pass there. I believe that was Bernier coming underneath of that with a defender. So there's, 2 receivers and 2 or 3 defenders in the area.
And it seems like any pass outside of that 5 to 8 yard range that you've talked about for those short gains, any pass outside of that, whether he's been Henkel looking longer, he's gone for Salipa. It seems he's been the big target so far tonight. They've connected on a couple, but there have definitely been a number of misses as well. So it's 2nd down and 10 from the Kamloops 33. Once again, stepping back to pass, and now up through the middle. That one knocked down.
I think that was just straight dropped there by Duenveld.
Yeah, Henkel looking for Thijs Duenveld, and it was either batted away or just a plain dropped, like you say. So that brings up 3rd down. The Broncos will send out the punt team and Bryce Couture to kick this one away.
Well, we're back to Nathaniel Anderson returning, and not Liam Crane.
Anderson, a guy who has had some returns so far tonight. Last week also returned the ball as well. Had a return of 2 yards last week. This punt is going to fall short, bouncing at the 50. Now finally back to Anderson, the 40. He'll pick it up, but he has space up the right side of the field. Dodges him, hits, cuts to the middle, still at his feet. And Anderson going to be brought down just inside the Kamloops 45.
I'm really surprised Sean Robinson did not get a penalty there. He outright ran into the kicker. And I think the official just somehow missed it because the kicker didn't really react. Or he maybe decided his leg was already back down. I'm not sure, but that looked to me like a penalty.
Yeah, and we've seen flags tonight, especially when it comes to protecting either the quarterbacks or the kickers. We've seen those roughing the passer calls tonight, and you're right, that one, a play where the flag didn't drop. So the Sun, the benefit of that. 1st and 10 from the Kamloops 43. This one, a handoff to Rodriguez, cuts to the left, and now up the middle. He's going to gain close to 5 yards there. Robbie Rodriguez seems to be the guy that gets the ball off one of these early down plays, early 1st down plays, as a guy to just punch it up the gut and get some tough yards. And he's done a pretty good job at picking up 4, 5, 6 yards a carry tonight.
Yeah, he's been doing great finding the holes. He's found a couple of tiny little gaps between his O-linemen that have been beautiful, small little runs. And it definitely seems this week they're leaning on him more than last week. Last week he just seemed to be part of the committee, and this week it seems like him and Curry are the 1-2.
There's another handoff now cutting up the right side. There, that was Rodriguez on the carry once again. Gets down to close to the 30-yard line. That should be good for a 1st down, and it is. So Robbie Rodriguez with a couple of back-to-back runs to give his team another 1st down as they approach the red zone of the Broncos here. 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Okanagan Sun with a 10-0 lead. A game where they probably would like to have seen more success on the offensive side of the ball, but they haven't needed it as the D has shut down the Broncos offense so far. Wenman to pass. That one a screen to Anderson, who gets down to the 25.
Daniel Anderson brought down by Joe Daniel.
We saw a great block there by Liam Crane on the far side. And I believe he got the holding penalty earlier in the game that pulled a touchdown back. And had he had a block on that play, like the block on that last play that we saw, I don't think it wouldn't have been a hold because there was no penalty. And they would have been just as effective.
Yeah, I mean, I talked there about offense not being as productive, but boy, we've seen lots of penalties, pullback scores. Is this another run play up the middle? That's Rodriguez with space, and he gets down to the 10-yard line. Huge hole there for Rodriguez, who finds it early, and once he got into the middle of the field, he had lots of space.
That was a great run to find some space and break free of that first tackler. Would have loved to have seen him find a way to try to break free of that second defensive back that brought him down in the open field, but that was a big play.
So Rodriguez with a big gain here.
Broncos, the late switch.
Yeah, late switch there just before the ball gets snapped here. It is first and goal from the 10 by the looks of it. It's a handoff to the far side. Rodriguez on it again. Throws out the stiff arm. Looks like that'll allow him to gain a couple. There is a flag down, and it's a hold on the Sun, so this one coming back.
It's going to be interesting to see the penalty stats at the end of this game. I feel like we've had a lot of holding penalties for both teams even. Going to see a lot of practice this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, we sure have. And to elaborate on the point I was starting to make before, I mean, yeah, talking about how the Sun probably wish they had more points on the board, but we have seen undisciplined play at times from both teams. And, yeah, I mean, the Sun have had 3 scores pulled back on penalties.
Yeah, and at least 1 or 2 of those were really made possible by the penalties, so it makes sense. But, yeah, 1 or 2 of those that were just unnecessary plays.
So it's a 1st and 20 situation from the 20-yard line here. Wenman going to go back to pass here. He's under pressure, throwing off his back foot. That one, I thought it was incomplete initially. Even if it is complete, it was really back near the line of scrimmage. So all going to be about the same here on a 2nd and long coming up for the Sun. It is technically an incomplete.
Yeah, going back to those penalties on big plays, especially the illegal block on the interception return. As a former defensive guy, those are super frustrating because you don't want to rag on your buddy too much because he doesn't block regularly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, come on.
Here's Wenman looking deep into the back corner of the end zone. That's Crane wide open for the touchdown.
He got himself open, and it looked like he almost overthought that catch there, tripping over himself a bit as the ball arrived.
Yeah, he might have thought he was closer to that end line than he actually was on that play, but Liam Crane, it kind of looked like he just ran a corner route that he ended up wide open on there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a miscommunication on the defense or if the defensive backs just have their eyes in the backfield too long or what's going on there. But, yeah, you shouldn't have a guy run that open when you're that near the end zone.
So that's what happens for Liam Crane, his first touchdown on the season. Another passing TD for the Sun tonight, a 36-yard score from Kyler Mosley back in the first half. That one will be a 20-yard pass to Liam Crane. Extra point is up, and it is good. And a huge touchdown for the Sun there as they extend this lead once again, now sitting at a 17-0 clip. We'll take a quick break here as we anticipate the kickoff. You're listening to Okanagan Sun Football, BCFC TV and AM 1150.
As Kelowna's premier commercial real estate brokerage, Colliers International is focused on creating value for their clients. Let Colliers help you with complete end-to-end service, from consulting and appraisal to brokerage and project management. Colliers International will help you buy, sell, lease, and manage your commercial and investment property. Colliers International, commercial real estate solutions to accelerate your success. Proud sponsor of the Okanagan Sun. Visit collierscanada.com.
Win or lose, touchdown or turnover, JDS Energy and Mining is proud to support local sports in Kelowna. They believe it's important to put youth at play where they can learn to be leaders. They believe in the habits and values learned from working in a team. They believe the skills today youth learn in organized sports will strengthen our community. JDS Energy and Mining, a proud community partner of local sports in Kelowna and your Okanagan Sun.
Under the helmet and between the 50s. This is your all-access pass to Okanagan Sun football on AM 1150.
Kickoff just complete after that Sun touchdown. Looked like the ball went out about the 17 or 18-yard line. That's where Kamloops will start in a 1st and 10. And it looks like the kickoff for the Sun really purposely placed in front of that returner to try and look for some confusion there.
Yeah, they're really working on finding that no man's land between the last layer of blockers and the returners. And if you can land it just behind that blocking level, often it'll just land and fall dead in no man's land.
Yeah, Trent Price had to slide back on that, and under pressure now is the quarterback Henkel, who's got to throw it out of bounds on the right side off of his back foot. So 2nd and 10 coming up deep inside Kamloops territory. But yeah, Trent Price was the blocker who, you know, blockers will get told in that scenario that their special teams coordinators don't want them going back to make a catch too far, right? It's always that fine line. Okay, how far do I go back to make that catch?
Yeah, the general rule for those guys is if you have to go back at all, don't.
Yeah.
Go forward and block somebody so the guy behind you can catch it. But if it's only going to land on 2 yards behind you, you got to take those couple back steps, because if it dies on the ground, then you're in trouble.
So back here, Henkel, and he's going to be brought down and sacked. A big play there from the Sun. Looked like Hayward Beasley broke through and brought down the quarterback there.
A little somersault at the end there. I'm not sure if they're going to count that as a celebration.
Yeah, Beasley, who was off balance there as he made the tackle, just kept going forward into the full somersault there. But big play from Beasley to make a 3rd down and 18 play here for the Broncos, who just haven't been able to get things going on offense consistently tonight. Here's a punt that's headed straight for the sidelines. It'll bounce out right and around the 40 by the looks of it.
Not a bad kick. I'm a little surprised Kamloops wasn't rushing to get that kick off a little sooner. The Sun return unit took quite a bit of time getting set up. And on special teams especially, if you can get that element of surprise from getting that snap off sooner than everyone's expecting it, you can really that's where you can make some bigger plays.
Yeah, either sooner or some other kind of, like you say, element of surprise, because we saw that play earlier in the game where it was Couture back punting for the Broncos, and he actually sidestepped an incoming blocker to get a punt off that ended up pinning Liam Crane back close to his own goal line. Here's a pass right through the hands of Crane.
That time I think they made the right call with the incomplete pass, but yeah, earlier in the game we saw one of those go, I think it went backwards and they called it incomplete.
We had a pretty good vantage point of it too. It was, the line of scrimmage was pretty close to midfield where we're sitting right now, and yeah, you're right, a play earlier in the game where it was like that. It was
the quick bubble screen.
From Wenman, where he takes the ball, looks to a receiver, and just throws it right across the field. But yeah, earlier in the game that didn't work out. That an incomplete pass. Now Wenman twisting away from an incoming rusher. He will get brought down just past the line of scrimmage by the looks of it.
That was Tevin McCarty on that move, and that was a great rush move. He started the play off, did a little bit of a head fake and didn't engage the O-lineman, which I'm not a big fan of, but that little hesitation let him do a quick hand move outside, and yeah, came through real clean and quick.
And, you know, sometimes when the lineman can break through and the quarterback can get away initially from that first attempt at contact, a quarterback can sometimes outrun one of those big D linemen. But you're right, able to keep up on that play was McCarty, and forced Wedman into a slide for third down. And 10 yards to go. Yeah, no gain on that one from the Kamloops 43-yard line. We will get a punt.
It looks like the Sun are missing a player on the punt team, or at least all their players are reacting as though they are. And we are waiting for something.
Yeah, waiting for something right now is... Official called a penalty against the Sun.
I believe they called it a delay of game.
Side count violation, 44 on the kicking team. 10-yard penalty, still third down.
Yeah, time count violation, that's what that is. And so I'm not sure exactly what happened there, because it looked like they were ready to snap the ball and then
just waited.
And didn't.
That's a 5-yard penalty, still third down.
So that'll push the Sun back towards the Kamloops 50. Won't change the unit that's on the field. Still going to be a punt at this point. We'll just push them back 5 yards to the Kamloops 48. Running to his right before punting it there is Wagner, but it's down near the 20-yard line. Bobbled a bit there. On the return from Joseph, he gets forced back right at the 20-yard mark, and throwing the football down after he gets backed up. A little bit of frustration there by Max Joseph, who just wasn't able to come up with that ball cleanly on the kick.
Yeah, as a returner, those kind of shorter kicks are super frustrating, because all you want to do is get the ball in your hands and try to make a play. That's what you're there for. And those shorter kicks, he ran up to it, and the best he could do was just pin it to the ground and then have to pick it up. And yeah, it ruins your momentum, it ruins your flow, and it gives everybody time to surround you.
On Broncos, number 6, that penalty declined, first down.
So Kamloops offside, declined there, and it'll be 1st and 10 starting from the Kamloops 21-yard line. We've seen multiple punts like that from Isaac Wagner tonight, kind of in that gray zone where he's sort of 45 to 55 yards out, and he seemed to have a pretty good touch in terms of getting those kicks to fall, like you say, and be a little bit shorter and make it tough for the return team on them.
Yeah, and when you're running up to, and when you're catching the ball in motion running, that's where you make a lot of the bobbles, that's where the fumbles happen, and you get turnovers. Sacrifices some distance on your kicks, but it's a trade-off.
So back to passes, Henkel in the shotgun. There was early movement there.
Penalty flag prior to the snap, indication against the Broncos.
Yeah, as the whistle went right away to blow that play dead, which means it's against the offense in that scenario.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Kamloops would really like to finish this drive with some points, get some points on the board, because right now 3 scores back. It's a long 3 scores, but if you cut that to 2.
For so much of this game where it was just a 1-score football game, it kind of seemed like there was always, okay, maybe next time is airing out this one deep downfield. Oh, what a grab there!
Wow, what a catch. Reaching out with the left-handed one-hander over the shoulder. That was amazing.
That's Tice Dunefeld, who we've seen line up at tight end a couple times tonight. Looks like he was going to be 3 yards short of making that catch, and he lays out with the left hand, brings it in to his midsection. What a grab.
That is worth looking up on the internet after this if you're only listening on the radio. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Find that catch.
Yeah, you're fortunate if you're watching BCFC TV tonight to have seen that as a handoff on this first down play from the Sun 50. That one to Jacob Tubajon. I believe that's his first carry of the night. And it'll move it about 3 yards. We'll be looking at, I believe, about a 2nd and 7 here.
I'm actually really surprised we haven't seen more runs out of the tight end formation that we saw work so well when they first brought it out.
Yeah, it's true. There was lots of space for Max Joseph, who had a few good runs there in that first half. Haven't seen it really here in the second half. Another pass over the middle. There was contact there Duneveld looking for that penalty. He's not going to get a flag.
That was a great defensive play by Eli Haynes, getting some contact in there, but still going for the ball, so not drawing the penalty.
Yeah, didn't grab on and hold on to him as that ball was coming in on him, and that, like you say, enough contact there to disrupt the receiver, but not enough to force the official's hand into throwing a flag. And so back to 3rd and 8 here for the Broncos, who off that huge completion forced to punt this one away.
Beautiful punt.
Yeah, Crane back, drops it at his own 10, still has enough time to get back and pick it up. Spinning away from a couple of tackles. Liam Crane does well to get up to the 20. I thought for a second he'd be forced back near his own goal line.
I was worried for a moment he might just cough the ball up at his own goal line.
Exactly, but Crane able to find the ball between his legs to the 10, spin a couple times, get up to the 20.
Those are always real dangerous, too, because you never know when that last broken tackle is going to be before it's just a race to the goal line. And those returners are always fast enough to win that race.
Absolutely. So it's 1st and 10 from the Sun 20. Wenman back with Corey lining up beside him there. He is going to hand it off. Corey cutting to the outside, now through the middle. Breaks through a tackle. A flag flies as he does. He'll get it up about 5 yards to the 25. Ran probably close to 20 yards to gain that 5 on that play.
Those sweep plays that the Sun have been running a lot today. It is a long run to get sometimes not very much.
And I think it's an offensive hold here.
Holding. 5 in the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still back up.
So that's what it is, and so it'll be a 1st and 20 here, forcing the Sun back to their own 10-yard line. A minute 27 left to go here in this, the 3rd quarter. Sun with the 17-0 lead. Forced back deep in their own zone. When with the pump fake, now throws it as he's getting hit, but it's pass complete there up the far side.
That was a powerful run for that receiver.
Yeah, sure was.
Late flag in the end zone. Sun player with his helmet off. I'm not sure if the flag is for him taking it off or that Kamloops player having taken it off for him.
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what happened back there. That was Master Demos, I think, on the reception for the Sun. He got it up close to the 25-yard line, but we'll see who's, I'm sure, going to get an unnecessary roughness penalty here. I think that was Curtis Muchman, who was mixing it up in the end zone back there. The big D lineman on the Broncos side.
No indication yet, but I think this might be on the Sun.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was looking with...
You are not allowed to take your helmet off on the field. And often guys will, just as a reaction, take their helmet off to whatever's going on around them. And
now
where are we marching?
Now we're coming upfield. So that is Curtis Muchman, the 4th-year D lineman from Kelowna. Muchman, a veteran on that D line, getting mixed up with the Sun player in the end zone, and a big major foul there. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line in Sun territory. Here's Corey, cut to left side now, cuts back up the middle. He'll get spun around and tackled a couple yards past the line for a gain of a few. I think we'll be 2nd and 8 here. Ball is going to be put down at the 41-yard line.
I think there was more to be had there in that run had he reversed his field a little bit more. He only sort of cut back to the backside tackle. I think if he just totally reversed the field and raced to the sidelines, he might have been able to win that corner. Yeah, tough play there for Kelton Curry, who, you're right, in hindsight, might have been more space for him to go. Now here's a pass, a screen to the far side to Anderson. He's got some blocks in front of him, cutting up the left side. He'll get all the way up to the Kamloops 50. That's good for a 1st down here for the Sun.
who we've seen that play multiple times tonight, but it's worked for them a few times, and that no different. Coming off of that run play on first down, that screen pass to Anderson, who's just got a couple blockers in front of him that make the room for him to get that first down.
Yeah, those quick screen passes, they're pretty recognized in football as being fairly similar to run plays. And the Sun, on top of trying to establish their run game, really love to use those plays.
Wenman has one back behind him. The handoff comes through the middle. That's a nice run up the gut. That is Rodriguez, who's barreling through tackles, gets all the way up to the 40-yard line. Corey, rather.
That was some very impressive blocking from the O-line. I'm not sure he was touched for the first 7, 8, 9 yards.
So Kelton Corey with a big run, a first down. And when we kick off the fourth quarter, it'll be the Sun at the 40-yard line of the Broncos. We'll take a quick break, come back for more BCFC football right here on AM 1150.
So you just finished washing the dishes. You're enjoying some me time. The sink won't drain. You're showering in a puddle. Your pipes need clearing. Get the guys that aren't afraid to get down and dirty. Mac Plumbing. The worst clogs are no match for the power of high-pressure jetting. No matter what the buildup, gross stuff, or invading roots, Mac Plumbing will clear your pipes. Mac Plumbing. They really know their on Twitter and at macplumbing.ca.
You're listening to Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150.
Welcome back here to the Apple Bowl in Kelowna. The Okanagan Sun lead their visitors from Kamloops 17-0 here as we're about to get set for the beginning of fourth quarter action. Sun, who are about to be 1st and 10 from the Kamloops 40. A nice run before that. End of the third from Kelton Corey. A gain of about 12 yards in the run now. First down play, firing it to the outside, is Wenman. That complete, believe that was Crane over there. Not going to be enough for a first down, but going to be good for 6. So 2nd and 4 coming up for the Sun here. Back to pass once again. Wenman up over the middle. That one is complete. That one's to Falconer, who's taken down right in front of the goal line.
That was a great pass and catch, finding the soft spot in that cover 3 zone again, right in the seam.
And we've seen that play attempted a couple times tonight.
Yeah, some of the earlier attempts, they were just waiting a little too long, and the window would be closing on them as the ball arrived. And they've since earlier in the game, they've made 2 big plays on that exact pass, finding that little soft cushion there, getting that ball in sooner.
Yeah, that Jesse Falconer, who, like you say, has not been targeted too many times tonight, but when he has, it's that play up the middle. And now Kelowna deep in the third, get inside the end zone. Flag came down from the official right at the back end of the end zone. Kyler Mosley, I believe, was the player who rushed the ball into the end zone like we saw him do last week there, but looks like it's a penalty against Kamloops. This one might stand.
Well, if you're going to take a penalty, your own 1-yard line is the place to take it.
Yeah, it seemed like only a matter of time there that the Sun would be able to dump it in. They've got so many options there in those goal line plays where they have the big backs, Corey and Rodriguez. We've seen quarterback Wenman call his own number tonight. We saw Zyla do that last week. And then even when you're not thinking about backs, you've got a guy like Kyler Mosley who can come in from behind that running back after one fake handoff and take it in.
Yeah. No, I'm still hoping I wind up seeing when they pull in those 2 pair of linebackers in for tight ends. I'm still hoping to see a little pass out to one of them for a touchdown. Get some Mike Vrabel action going.
So it was too many men on the field for the defense. That penalty declined. So Extra point is coming up, and it is not successful.
Not sure if that was a dropped hold there or what. I don't think it was blocked.
Yeah,
sort of lost the ball.
Yeah, it looks like it was a play where it was just, like you say, a dropped hold, and I'm not sure Wagner even made any contact with the football on that, so kind of a funny play on that convert attempt. And so the score will remain 23-0 here for the Sun, though the pressure squarely on the shoulders of the Broncos offense, who need to get something going offensively here if they want a chance at coming back in this ball game.
Yeah, definitely. I'm starting to get a little worried we're going to get scoreboard to start snowballing on us, because yeah, Kamloops has been playing a tight game, but I think their main chance to win was if it was a nice close game, 1-point game. Further they get down, the more desperate they're going to be. Desperation leads to turnovers, and that's going to lead to points for the Sun, and suddenly what's been a fairly close, real good game could look a lot different on the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely. As Wagner fixing that stand with the football at his own 45, now going to head back to kick it. 13:21 is the time remaining here in the fourth quarter. Sun with that 23-point lead. This one just kicked up to bounce to the 35. Here's a return coming up here. That for the back, Trent Price, who picks up the ball, bowls his way over a couple of Sun players, and will get the Broncos into first down play at their own 42-yard line by the looks of it. And, I mean, we've talked about tonight how the Broncos have played large stretches of this game, a solid game on defense, but when the D is on the field as much as they've been asked to be tonight, it's really tough to shut down this offense.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do, again, especially against a good offense with this many weapons. Sooner or later, the longer you're out there, the more big plays are going to happen. You want to get those 2 and outs and hope your offense can keep you off the field.
Henkel back in the shotgun formation now, just floats one over there to Joseph. Screen play, hey, he's got some room. It will be a first down up across midfield. Now a big tackle throw in there just past the midway point. Ball came loose and the Sun picked it up, but it looked like the officials had ruled it down by contact.
Yeah, Ben McCauley's not too thrilled with that call. Oh, and we do have, they are calling it a fumble and a Sun ball.
Wow, that wasn't the initial call on the field.
Looks like an early whistle.
That's it, apparently. Yeah, it looks like the officials converged and said that was not down by contact. Raquel Cespedes, I believe, the Sun defender in the secondary who pounced on that ball.
That's a super frustrating play for Kamloops, especially off the kickoff. You really want the ball in the hands of your playmakers, and it seems like they really want the ball in the hands of Max Joseph. And rather than kicking it to him, they do that short kick again. So Kamloops thinks, fine, we'll get it to him in space with that little bubble screen, and they do, and he makes a big play, but ends it with a turnover.
And so first and down for the Sun from there.
Two running backs.
Two running backs kind of splitting the quarterback there. That play to Curry. He'll gain a couple yards. Looks like we'll see second down and 6 or 7 to go here. But for Nick Wendman, the third-year quarterback with this team, who played in one game last year, getting his first start for the Sun of the season here in Week 2 tonight, has performed admirably as the Sun backup coming in, and oftentimes not really looking like a backup here, per se.
Oh, definitely not. And like I was saying at the start of the game, the Sun often have some pretty decent quarterback depth, so I wasn't expecting anything else from him.
Wendman's back to pass. This one looking deep on the right side. That one is complete, and gone is the receiver. He will just walk into the end zone for a score.
Can't quite make out who that is. Anderson, maybe?
I think it's Nathaniel Anderson. Tough to see, especially as it gets darker here under the lights on that. Yeah, that's Nathaniel Anderson. We get confirmation over the public address. And like you were talking about, Pierre Carson, a point in the game where we've had it be so close for so long, but now it's starting to get more lopsided here as we get in the latter stages.
Yeah, and fatigue definitely wears on a defense more than it wears on an offense. And I think you saw that there. The pretty tight coverage, guy made the catch. Anderson made it with the catch there. And the defensive back had him wrapped a little bit, but just fell off, couldn't secure the tackle. And we've been seeing secured tackles all game, so those haven't happened.
This convert is successful from Wagner, and that will extend the lead to 30-0 for the Sun. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I wondered too initially when I saw the play, I wondered if it was a case of a defensive back kind of going for an interception, maybe pinching a little bit, cheating in that sense, where the D feel like
they need to make the play because the offense isn't. Yeah.
Exactly, where it's a case maybe the D feeling like you say, we've got to maybe put some points on the board here in this situation because the offense just hasn't been able to do that tonight.
Yeah, it's that's exactly what I think happened on that play. It is a little disappointing to see because it has been a real good, real tight game.
Yeah, I agree.
And we still have 12 minutes left, and it's now 30-0. I'm a little worried the last 10 minutes of this game aren't going to be as good as the first 3 quarters were.
And is it harder kind of keeping that momentum going as you play on defense when you look up at the scoreboard and you see 23-0 versus 7-0 when you know that it's a little bit more out of reach?
Oh, absolutely. It's yeah, once you see, if you look up and see that scoreboard is more than a score away and the offense isn't helping you out, you start to get a little more desperate.
So on a return here, this one is picked off, that one by Joseph, and he gets tripped up across his own 25. So it'll be Joseph up to his own 29, 1st and 10 for the Broncos, who find that hole that they're in just that much deeper after the latest touchdown pass to Nathaniel Anderson. Didn't get final yardage on that pass to Anderson, but it was a long one, that's for sure.
Yeah, it must have been 40 anyway.
Yeah, 40-plus, big-time reception for him. And the other thing it does, as well as making it a lopsided game, is back to pass here, is Henkel throws it to the outside, that complete. Won't be a first down. We'll be looking at about 2nd and 4 or 5 here.
Pass complete to Brody Bernier.
Brody Bernier with the pass complete there. Again, a name that we just haven't called too many times tonight. Bernier, that's got to be only his 2nd or 3rd catch on the evening. And a little short kind of slant route at that, picked up 5 yards on it.
Yeah, I was really expecting to hear more out of him. The Sun have done a great job in taking him out of the game.
Again, 7 completions to Bernier last week, probably about half of that so far tonight. Here's another screen pass, this one up to Joseph. He gets drilled down hard at his own 30-yard line. That was
a great play there by Connor Richard. He undercut the block that what came for him and then really swallowed up that stiff arm, and it looks like the tackle even wound up hurting Max Joseph there.
Yeah, holding his upper body.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a shoulder or collarbone even.
Yeah, Richard wrapped him up pretty good and kind of threw him to the ground. And
yeah, he wrapped up. Max tried to throw that left hand stiff arm, and Richard swallowed that stiff arm up and swung him down into the ground onto his right shoulder, and it's hanging pretty loose at the moment.
So Joseph gets up. He's fortunately able to walk off under his own power here, just holding that right arm, right shoulder area. And
he is able to move his arm around, although he is grabbing at that shoulder. So hopefully it's not too bad and it's just a stinger and he'll be back.
Well, 10:54 is what's left here in the 4th quarter. Injury had the opportunity for officials to take a little bit of water break here, but it looks like we're getting ready to go. It'll be a 3rd down play for the Broncos. 3rd down and 7 to go on their own 32, so the punt team is on the field. The way to kick here is Bryce Couture. Looks like Liam Crane is back to receive this one. Not going to get to him there. Bit of a wounded duck on that punt. That one floats out of bounds, still on the Kamloops side of the field, close to the 50 there.
definitely think that went off the side of his foot there. Probably looking at the rush before it's getting to him.
Yeah, sure looked like it there, and so that'll push the Sun to start their offensive possession over midfield here. Got confirmation as well that the last touchdown catch by Nathaniel Anderson, 52 yards on that one. So that was a big reception, the longest touchdown reception for the Sun so far this evening. And so 1st and 10 here for the Sun from the Kamloops 50-yard line. Change of quarterback here for the Sun, and a good play action there. That is number 17, Matthew Mahler, who's into the game here. Normal third-string quarterback for Okanagan, getting some playing time here late in this one, but that play action fooled everybody there. Mahler had kept it, actually had some time as he tried to complete a pass over on the far side, but just underthrew his receiver.
Yeah, when you get that play action properly right into the running back's gut, it disappears on defenders, and it can suck even cameramen in pretty often.
Yeah, absolutely. As this one, I formation there, so run up the gut. That one looked like it was Corey who kept the ball there, and he gets a nice gain.
I think that was Joseph Okunlula running out there, number 34 for Okanagan.
So with that, that'll bring up 3rd down here. Yeah, I think you're right, as I double-checked there. It was, saw the big 3. It wasn't Curry. It was, like you say, Joseph Okunlola, number 34, on that attempt. So here we are, 3rd down and 4. Son Isaac Wagner going to be back to punt this one away. This one is going to be a fake. That one off of the line of scrimmage is rushed upfield nicely there by the Sun, and that will get all the way over to the far side.
I think that was Zach Newman over there.
Yeah, that was Zach Newman. I was trying to pick up who the offensive player was, and the reason I couldn't pick it up was because it wasn't an offensive player. It was DB Zach Newman, number 14, who caught the ball before it got back to Wagner, rushed it up the right side. That will be much more than enough for a 1st down and send the Sun offense back on the field.
Love seeing those fake plays go to defensive players. Get the ball in their hands once in a while.
10-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Oh, there was a penalty against Eli Haynes there.
Yeah, Haynes with the illegal block there. So a 10-yard penalty will actually move the ball back to where it kind of originally was on that play. 1st and 10 for the Sun at the Kamloops 43. Fresh set of downs for Okanagan to work with here. Matthew Mahler in at quarterback, and he's going to hand this one off once again. Working his way up the far side there, that is Joseph Okunlola. Rookie running back in here for the Sun, who
really had to stretch that field there to get outside for find an open lane.
But a nice run at that to get some room, get a 1st down for his team. They're 1st and 10 now at the 32-yard line. 8:40 to go here in a 4th quarter that both teams probably want to see that clock go down about as much as possible as a run play off the snap there, and it's going to be wrapped up right near the line of scrimmage. No gain there for the Sun. It'll be 2nd and 10, maybe even a half-yard back from that original spot at the 32-yard line.
Sun with 2 backs again. Looks like they're probably just going to be running out the game for the most part.
Yeah, not looking to put a big completion on, but this is a pass play off his back foot through the middle of the field. Mahler is picked off, I believe. That's what the Broncos say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a clean interception there.
Both the receiver and the DB had their hands on it pretty much simultaneously. That was quite the little wrestling match with that football.
Coming up with the interception, though, are the Broncos.
Pass has been intercepted by Andrew Burns. Broncos first and 10.
Didn't see exactly who it was that came up with that interception in the middle of the field for the Broncos. But nonetheless, the defense, who's played a pretty good game for the most part here tonight, into just some tough luck play in this fourth quarter. Nice to be rewarded a little bit there with that interception. So back to pass play action through the middle. That one is complete. And up to about the 43-yard line, Tim Salipa.
Gentlemen, if you have your 50-50 ticket, I have the winning number.
Good completion there between Henkel and Salipa. We've seen lots more play action here in this second half from the Broncos quarterback, and that play worked well.
Yeah, the Suns a little lucky there that Salipa couldn't hit the brakes and come back to the sidelines. There's quite a bit of space over here.
So a first down play. 10 to go once again. That one, another play action and throwing to the far side. Nice play by Salipa to come back to the ball, make a sliding catch on one knee. And though it won't be enough for a first down, it will be a gain of about 7 yards here. Second down and 3 from the Kamloops 50 here. Broncos at this point here, 6.5, inside of 6.5 minutes left to go in this one. Still time for a couple scores, but definitely on the Kamloops side, making sure they don't get shut out tonight. You can bet that that's something on the back of their minds right now. Another fake handoff there. There's a pass back behind the line of scrimmage. That one is going to be caught by Dunefeld, and he tries to get up and back to the line. He's not quite going to get there, so that'll bring up third down here. Looked like a loss of maybe about a yard.
Yeah, it was actually pretty impressive just to get back to where he did get to.
Yeah.
Tiptoeing down the sideline.
Third down and 4. You can bet that the Broncos in third down territory at this point. They're definitely going to go for it here.
Before this game's over, I'm thinking look out for Ty Kitzman to come up with another interception.
Of course, he has one already tonight. He had one called back on a penalty. And now it's going to be a passing play on third down. This one up and broken up. Max Joseph, the intended receiver. Good to see him back out there, and he was the one whose number Henkel called, but he was tackled right away as the ball was coming into his hands, and a nice stop by the Sun D to get that turnover on downs.
And that was a great pass breakup by Zach Newman. He got the hand in there to swat the ball away as it arrived and wrapped and secured the tackle, brought him to the ground. You love to see both done.
Newman, who's kind of doing a little bit of everything here in this quarter, had that play on special teams on the fake punt to rush the ball and pick up a first down. Good tackle there. Puts the Sun offense back on the field, and looks like did somebody call a timeout here?
Yep.
Yeah, timeout has been called by the Broncos. So we'll take a break, come back to the Apple Bowl here. It's the Suns 30, the Broncos AM 1150 and BCFC TV.
Is your Mac making the carries? Is your hard drive running the yards? Simply Computing has been around for over 30 years, almost as long as the Okanagan Sun. They know a thing or two about making sure your machine is at peak performance. Visit Simply Computing for all your Apple needs, from trade-ins to extended warranties and much more. Simply Computing has you covered. Shop downtown at 1546 Pandosy or online at simply.ca. Simply Computing, Apple specialists since 1984.
Cara Vista, the newest neighborhood in the heart of Rose Valley.
Low maintenance living, a low monthly strata, spacious townhomes with all the luxuries you could ever want in Cara Vista, where possession dates are still available this year. Phases 4 and 5 are already over 80% sold out. Check out the show home on Rosalie Lane before these homes are all taken.
Reserve your new home at caravistawithak.net. Welcome home.
From our team to yours, this is Okanagan Sun Football on AM 1150.
Welcome back here to the Apple Bowl. Sun just off a first down rush play, picked up 6 yards there, so second down and 4 to go here from the Kamloops 40-yard line. Going to be another rush. This time Mahler, quarterback keeping the football, is going to even throw a hit there as he's headed towards the sideline. Takes another big hit. That's going to be a first down, too, for the Sun. Hey, not often that you see a quarterback take that big hit there, but Matthew Mahler into the game at QB now with hit there.
Yeah, I definitely see him trying to lower the shoulder there on that tackler at the end. Sort of mixed feelings about that with a quarterback. You sort of love to see that, but at the same time, every time a quarterback goes into contact, you tense up a little bit. Not sure how the outcome's going to turn.
Yeah, Mahler, I guess, saying that he wants to make the most of the playing time that he's getting here late in this ball game. A 1st and 10 here on the Kamloops 33. It's been mostly runs here, as Mahler going to keep that one again, just dive forward. Looks to gain maybe a couple of yards there.
Could see some of the reason he's the third string quarterback there. Seen a lot of really good play action from the starters of this game, where they get their full football right into the running back's stomach and hold it there, forcing the defense to follow the running back. And there he just pulled it a little too quick. Everyone was just aware of where the ball was.
Yeah, just an easier read for the defenders there, who stuffed him after a gain of a couple of yards. Mahler going to be back to pass this time. Has a man open in the flat that, cutting across the middle, is going to be close to a first down by the looks of it. Again, tough to see on that far side who caught that ball.
Number 21, maybe?
Yeah, looks like Keanu Shani with the reception that time. I believe that's his first catch of the ball game. He's been targeted once or twice before this. And again, pretty close to that first down marker. Are we going to get a measurement here? Yes, we are. 3:31 left to play here at the Apple Bowl. Okanagan Sun with a 30-0 lead over the visitors from Kamloops. Of course, the Sun will hit the road as of next week. First road game of the season going to be in Langley against the Rams. The Sun will then return home on August the 19th to take on the Valley Huskers. Then they're out in Nanaimo taking on the VI Raiders on the 26th to wrap up the first half of the season before that Labor Day bye week. 1st and 10 for the Sun on the 23. Handoff there is into a big pile of bodies. And so that will be only a slight gain, if there was one there. Going to be pretty close to a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, good quick hit there by the D lineman. A little surprised you don't see more pulling and grabbing at the running backs trying to force that ball out, but I guess this game is a little out of hand at this point.
Like I say, 2nd and down, the ball at the Kamloops 23-yard line. Going to be another run, cutting to the outside here, and no gain there.
Nowhere to run even. I'm not sure if it's single block.
No kidding. Tough sledding there for Joseph Okunlola, running back who's gotten the last few carries for the Sun here.
Yeah, there was 3 or 4 guys everywhere he looked. There was no Brown to follow. I guess that's the color we are at the moment, right? Or orange and charcoal, not brown. Sorry.
Charcoal sounds good to me. It was kind of interesting last week, of course, when we had kind of both teams with that gray featured jerseys with West Shore in town. Both teams debuting new jerseys, both with a lot of gray in there, but a little bit easier tonight with the all-white uniforms of the Broncos. So we'll get a field goal attempt here. Going to be a 32-yarder. Isaac Wegner, 1 for 2 kicking so far in this evening's game. That kick is up. It is good. Wegner connects on the 32-yarder, and that will just extend the Sun lead a little bit more. 33-0 here as the clock hits 2:22 left to go in the game.
Broncos going to start from the 35.
Was just trying to look up some of the out-of-town scores from around the league. I haven't got completely up-to-date updates at this point into what's happening with the Langley Rams Valley Huskers game that also started at 7 o'clock tonight. West Shore Rebels surviving a scare earlier this afternoon to pick up a win. We'll also touch on that a little later on. Change at quarterback here for the Kamloops Broncos. The backup Ryan Dirksen into the ball game. That pass falls incomplete. Looked like a pretty good one, just off the fingertips of his receiver. Looked like Duneveld over on the far side. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line.
That was just a good catch off the snap even there. Really quick snap off to the left. Had to react well, or that would have been bouncing around in the backfield. And Joseph's in the slot again, so good to see him out there.
Yeah, Joseph, after getting hit earlier, is this a big sack off of that one? A big collision and a nice tackle there. Matthew Panatoni, the rookie linebacker, who he came in untouched from the right side there in behind quarterback Dirksen. And the quarterback really didn't have much of a chance on that play.
No chance. He's actually really fortunate he didn't have to eat a bigger hit than that, because he was coming in very hot.
That Matthew Panatoni, rookie out of Saskatoon, for the Sun there on that tackle and sack. And so with the loss, now a 3rd down and 18.
I believe Liam Crane to return the punt.
Yeah, Crane's back at his own 50-yard line to return this punt. Of course, the punter, Bryce Couture, who's been handling those duties this evening, done a pretty good job of them for the most part after some snap issues earlier in the game. That's a good-looking one. Going to force Crane back to his own 44. But a nice return there as he blows by a couple of tackles, still on his feet across midfield, still moving, and gets driven out of bounds across the 45-yard line of the Broncos. Liam Crane, who's caught a touchdown pass tonight, with a nice return there.
Yeah, it was a great little weave through some traffic there for Liam. One of the few punts we've seen in the last little while that was actually caught cleanly, too, and given the opportunity to give a good return.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A lot of short kicks and a lot out of bounds.
Yeah.
A lot of returners just chasing balls. Sun have a tight end and 2 running backs.
And so here they take over 1st and 10. Couple fake handoffs, and Mahler's going far to the outside, throwing deep into the corner. That one, was it caught? It looked like somebody from the Sun came up with the ball over there. Yeah, be a catch.
Pretty sure that was a broken play, because I'm very sure the Sun receivers are not designed to run into the same spot like that. Yeah, just running to open space. Looks like they both found the same open space, and quarterback put the ball there. Somebody came down with it.
Yeah, both the Sun receivers almost ran into each other as they crossed out of bounds. That's at the 15-yard line, 16-yard line of the Broncos, and that's where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Sun. There's that I formation there, a handoff to the inside, and busting his way up the middle, I believe. Tough to know with
34?
Yeah, most of the second teamers in there on the far side of the field, but yeah, I think you're right. I think Okunlola gained 6 on that rush, so 2nd and 4 here from the 10-yard line. This one is going to be another handoff. That one is going to be stopped even closer to the line of scrimmage, right at, by the looks of it. So that'll open up Third down here, and Isaac Wagner leads the field goal kicking unit back onto the field to pad his team's lead here with just over a minute left to go here in this ball game. Kind of a similar game going on, by the way, in Chilliwack tonight, where the Valley Huskers at home to the Langley Rams. Last update I've got on that was Langley leading the Huskers 31-0 at the end of the third quarter. So kind of two similar games in the evening portion of the BCFC schedule here tonight. Wagner's field goal will be a 15-yarder. It is up and straight through those uprights, so that extends the Okanagan lead to 36 with 48 seconds left to go here in this ball game. A game that we saw the Sun offense kind of struggle to put points on the board early. They were in control for lots of the game, struggled to put points on the board early, however, but how much kind of importance or how much do you really give these kind of garbage time points that the Sun are putting on right now?
In terms of like showing the difference in ability between the teams, they're meaningless pretty much. Like as far as I've thought for this game, this is a 7-0 game, 17-0 game.
Right.
But yeah, once those points are scored to push them past 17, the snowball started down the hill and there wasn't any stopping it. So now it's rolled up to 36 points, and we'll see if it keeps rolling with only 48 seconds left. But yeah, this is a 17-0 game. The scoreboard is just showing otherwise.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of talked about it at the time when you sort of felt that tide turning, that snowball effect coming into play. Is this one a handoff? Play still going on for a little bit there. Ryan Dirksen is in a quarterback there. I think it was Jace Robert who got the carry.
That was a real strong carry there. Didn't get much for yards and didn't really have much space. They probably carried 3 or 4 Sun for a couple yards.
Just short of the line of scrimmage there. Looks like we're 2nd and 12 from the Kamloops 33. Clock down to 30 seconds to play here. Receivers in motion. Going to be a handoff to Roberts once again here.
Yeah, looks like Kamloops is happy to just hop on the bus and get going home.
So coming up next week for the Broncos, they are back at home, where they take on the West Shore Rebels. Of course, West Shore fresh off of a win this afternoon. They were playing in Nanaimo against the VI Raiders. Down early in that game, down at halftime, but the Rebels come back to take it a 27-25 final. And so a big first win in the season for Charlie Cardelicchia and his crew. Of course, they're starting the first 3 weeks of the season on the road as there are improvements being done to their stadium out there in Langford. And so they wrap up that 3 road game in 3 week stretch in Kamloops against the Broncos next week as clock is down. The final knee is taken by the Broncos, and that is going to do it here. Final score from the Apple Bowl. The Okanagan Sun defense puts up the big goose egg, 36-0, the final score in this one. Well, we'll talk more about what we saw here tonight. We'll talk about what else happened around the league, as I was alluding to there, and we'll talk about what's coming up next for the Sun. That's next in the postgame show right here on AM 1150 and BCFC TV.
I guess having an award-winning renovation is pretty neat. It certainly does make you feel proud that, you know, it's in your home and whatnot.
Shane on his Tommy award-winning reno by Gord Turner Renovations.
We've always looked at our house as one step towards, you know, our next step. And now this is a home that they've created. And to tell you the truth, our kids will now probably only know one place